the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Hey, welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast, episode 180.
I'm Jim.
Something. Yeah, I thought you'd finish the number.
Oh, 184, I believe.
Well,
Are we? This is how we're going today.
yeah, and I'm Lord Foo.
I'm Jim, and we are the Sad Dads. What do you got? You got something?
There were a whole, going into Sunday,
Yeah.
I figured we would do Taylor Hawkins.
Oh, shit. We've got a lot of stuff happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there was the Oscars thing. And
oh, boy.
what has I've almost been scatterbrained about this because it is on its face. So if you've been in a hole, this is the Will Smith walks up to Chris Rock and gives him the He-Man pimp slap over making a joke about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. If you haven't seen this, I'd be shocked.
Right.
If I'm the first person to tell you this, I'd be shocked.
If you heard it here.
Yeah, if you heard it here first.
How are you listening to this show but don't know about that?
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm flattered.
That's right.
Have you considered our Patreon, which we've never set up before?
Apparently, we're the show under the rock.
Right. Perhaps, we should come out with a news thing once a week.
News under the rock.
News under the rock.
Yeah.
A very wide-ranging topic that you would think on its face is, for lack of a better word, black and white. But it is not, because the more I thought about people trying to weigh in on it, the more, context plays into the discussion, and, it's all hypothetical.
Yeah.
Their relationship, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, as a married couple, have an extremely complicated marriage.
Yeah.
With a series of issues which bystanders
aside from the Chris Rock slap.
Right.
That is a whole discussion unto itself.
Right.
Yes.
So when you look at the her hair issue and how she has dealt with and come to terms with her hair as a black woman, that is its own thing.
Right.
Oh, okay. Her hair as a black woman, its own thing. Her acceptance of her hair loss and her condition, its own thing. Their marriage, its own thing. The issues of their own marriage, its own thing. How they react to each other as a man and a woman, its own thing. Comedy and its ability to poke fun, generate conversation and insult, and the free speech part of the liberation and how you deliver comedy as a form of entertainment is its own thing. And when you look at some of the stuff that I would think a lot of people here have probably seen highlights or clips of Ricky Gervais during Golden Globes roasts, I would put those at far and beyond the zinger that Chris Rock made about
that
Jada
was
Pinkett
super
Smith.
benign.
Yeah.
Super benign.
So when we loosely talked here in the house, like family, because Piper had said, she had asked at the dinner table, she had asked Xander, is the Will Smith slap being talked at school? And he had no idea. And it was, so apparently not only he didn't know about it or see us talking about it in the house yet, but he also hadn't heard about it from anybody at school. However, Piper, it was a topic of discussion at school.
Mm-hmm.
Most of which was young men, boys at school saying that I can't even remember who it was, but it was pretty polarizing one way or another. My gut reaction, so I don't know about I could talk at length about this. So let me ask you first.
Yeah.
Your first reaction to it was what?
What the fuck? That was my first reaction. But like, I lost a lot of respect for Will Smith.
Okay.
That's immediately like, wow, dude. You just at the Oscars went up on stage and smacked Chris Rock in the face and then strutted back like you had just done something good.
Right.
And that didn't sit well with me at all.
Right. So I'm there, and I went to bed early that night, so I didn't even see it. I probably went to bed literally within 30 minutes, and I wasn't watching anyway. The Oscars aren't my bag. I don't watch that shit anyway.
Right.
I'll catch men's fashion highlights because that kind of interests me. Like, oh, that's cool things to be wearing. None of it I can fucking afford, but I enjoy looking at men's fashion. Like, what are we wearing? Obviously, mostly tuxes and shit. But
wait, hold on.
Timothy Chalamet
pants and something on your
had
top.
Jamie Tart thing with no shirt and a thing. Like Jamie Tart did that in Ted Lasso. My first reaction was, shit, I can't believe that happened. But there is there was a gentlemanly reaction that, well, that's what a man will do to stand up for his wife. That was perfectly honest. That was he took a shot at another man's wife. He had that one coming. That was my first reaction. Because I didn't quite hear the joke, but I wasn't really well versed on the entirety of the situation and her hair and what was said and whether or not there was some sort of pre-beef between Chris and Will.
Yeah.
But my was, hey man, you take shots at another, you rub the rhubarb and you're gonna get, it wasn't until I had taken a step back and like started seeing like it happen over and over again in like highlights and then like people chiming in where I went, yeah, but I've seen people take way worse jokes and shots at people, and it comes with the territory. And then he gets up and he has a speech where he apologizes to just about everyone under the sun except for the man that he just hit.
Right.
And then you start seeing some of the other footage where Chris Rock makes the joke. Will Smith is seen laughing at the joke.
Right.
Jada Pinkett Smith has like what looks like a platitude chuckle and then like a
eye roll,
a semi-eye roll.
Right.
And the camera cuts away, and then all of a sudden the next shot is Will Smith walking up on stage with a backhand. So the context there to me, once I start processing it, is everyone kind of thought it was funny. The lady which the joke was directed at didn't find it funny, but did some sort of signaling to her husband, like, do something.
That's what we didn't get to see.
Right. And then he did the thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to weigh that with the awkward perception that certainly I have of their marital status and the things that are going on and however they've dealt with it, it looks weird. Like it's wrong because you laughed and it wasn't until something else, there was some other catalyst that we didn't get to see, where then in high school terms, it would be that you're whipped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though as a individual, he's in power, a strong individual of his own accord, but whatever relationship dynamics that those two have, she didn't like that perhaps whatever his default reaction was, and then instigated or required a something, a net new.
Well, I'm curious. Is she? I don't know much about her. Is she a famous person?
Jada Pinkett?
Yeah,
she's an actress too.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know anything about her at all. But I was thinking, like, if she's not a famous person necessarily, and famous only by marriage, then that changes things a little bit, right? Because you have married into this thing.
Right. No, she's not as famous as Will Smith.
Right.
But she's an actress. She has a number of movies under thing. And she has like her own like talk show. I don't know what channel it's on or where it's broadcast, but she has her own like, it's kind of like this,
like
with the
podcast?
cameras,
Oh.
but broadcast where she has guests on and talk. And I have seen, so I knew about her hair condition. She has like an alopecia, so she has like a hair loss problem out of her control.
Yeah.
Right? So
I didn't know.
So I knew that, G.I. Jane joke, shaved head.
Right.
But she also came to this show with her head shaved.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Chris didn't perhaps know that she had a condition that defaulted into her preferring a shaved head.
Well, and that's not uncommon for a black woman to have a shaved head.
When we were discussing it with Xander, I'm like, so she has a hair condition where she's losing her hair over time or can't keep it, or it's fragile. So she chose before the award show within a couple days, or if I'll get there eventually, but she chooses to shave it like the Dora Milaje in the Black Panther movies. Like all of his female army, his personal guard, they're all shaved heads. I'm like, so you would recognize proud black women with the shaved head. It's a thing. It's very much a thing. So he took that shot, and then he goes and he does a slapping thing. Like I said, the default reaction for me was, I could see that's coming. But I think that's also something.
I think if you make that okay, then don't ever go to a comedy show.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And both of them, and that's part of the context of where they're at and who's on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to go to some of these premier socialite things where you're going to have the Ricky Gervaises and the comics taking shots, it's not like he's the first comic to get up there and take a pot shot at someone in the crowd. Yeah. So this is a known. Yeah. These things happen.
Yeah, these are part of the show, actually.
Is a comic going to know the bio and behavioral analysis of every person in the crowd? Absolutely not. Is the comic going to know or expected to verse up on every medical condition that someone in the crowd may be having? Absolutely not. Shit happens, and you're making millions of fucking dollars sitting in the front row at a spectacle where these things happen. Be prepared for shots across the bow. Mm-hmm. If you can't,
also you're an actor who is nominated for Best Actor.
Right. So
there's a lot.
There's a lot riding on.
Yeah, that's one of the big awards, other than like
keeping your shit together.
Best movie, or whatever.
And the part where I have a lot of like moral dilemma was the default of protect. Mm-hmm. Like, you took a shot at someone in my tribe and protect.
It was an immature reaction.
It was. Yeah. So what I've been having like a large amount of like mental debate about is I think there's a difference between having that as like almost like a moral fiber thing. Like you always trying to defend the defenseless, right? That's a moral fiber thing for me. But in that situation, there's like, well, yeah, but he's a comic. He's making a joke. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not really, and he may not be informed about a medical condition.
Right.
So you have to like put like a okay, take it
also,
easy now.
What I kind of read too into the joke was like that's a like you went with the shaved head, like own that shit, G.I. Jane,
right?
You know what I
right.
mean? Like almost like a go get 'em kind of a thing, not necessarily even like a trashing of her.
Yeah.
So
like women, go, you go, girl, kind of thing. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Where was he going? Okay, so I need to set that the defend the defenseless, like within context. In our friend group, which I'm thankful for, I realized in the context of this situation that I'm very grateful that all of the women in our group, I don't consider damsels in distress. Sarah, Jenna, Donna, your wife, Melly, Jen, or I said Jen, Jenny, none of those women are, woe is me, I need a man to take care of me. I see all of those women as strong, capable of standing up for themselves in a moment. Does everybody need help? Yeah, but that's not gender specific. If I'm being attacked, I need help. Attacked with jokes?
Have you ever been to a comedy show?
Right. This shit's hard.
Have you ever... I remember one time my wife and I went to like Laughs Unlimited here in Sac somewhere and got sat right in the front. And if you're right in the front, you're asking for it.
Right.
You're going to get picked on by the comic, period.
Yeah. So you got to...
And, you just got
the territory.
Yeah, you just got to go with it.
Yeah. And so when I look at what I'm teaching the kids here in the house, it's like, as you said, that's wrong. It's over the line.
Yeah.
Violence is last option. Run away, escape from the situation. Violence is bad. Violence is not where you go first to defend the defenseless. The gentlemanly thing, in hindsight, for me, would have been, I'm getting up and walking. If I don't like what you're doing and I don't like being heckled at, I'm taking my time and my tribe elsewhere.
Right.
And I'll find a way to make sure you understand that I disagree with your point of view, but I'm not getting up to slap or engage in violence because of words.
I mean, one of the things that I thought was interesting was the son's tweet.
Oh, yeah, that's how
we do it or whatever. And I'm
so,
thinking, what happens in their house?
Yeah.
What kind of activities are happening at their house?
Right. And there's a thing, too, and here's sort of like the twist on the whole thing, is that at any moment, I think in our friend group, we have, the whole ride or die thing, right? Someone's in trouble, you rally the wagon, you circle the wagons, right? When we were, and it reminded me of a perfect example, when we were on our Isle of Man trip, Mike and Angie and I and Venus, we're on Skellig something, the island with the puffins where they did some of the Last Jedi stuff.
Okay.
There were these two, which I presumed at the end of the trip were like deckhands for the boat or another boat. And there were these do not go onto like paths, like buildings or decrepit buildings or foundations. Like the puffins are nesting. You don't go on here. These two deckhands, who were probably regulars, proceeded to, as everyone else was walking up the steps, to try and make their way across into one of these no-space territories. And I'm side-eyeing, like, Mike, are they really doing that? And Mike says something. Mike says, hey, you're not supposed to go there. And they kind of gave Mike like a, like, fuck off. without saying, but you could tell they were ignorant of Mike saying whatever he had said.
Right.
So then Mike next
notches
like
it up.
hey, says something, and then at that point I realized Mike's mode of trying to defend the defenseless in the face of like a moral compass issue, Mike was ready to engage. That was not where my moral compass would go.
Yeah.
But if Mike is in the shit, then
I'm helping him.
I am in there with Mike in the shit.
Yeah.
But that was such a specific scenario where it was like you had two dudes, violating property, like a thing, like there was, natural habitat and a rule set in place.
Right.
So physical violence was not how I was approaching it. Mike said words. I supported Mike. Like, yeah, what are they doing? Like, Mike says another thing. And then I can't remember if they ended up moving or they moved us along. And then like a proctor ended up, whittling them off.
Right.
So that they didn't agitate the rest of the tourists who are like, well, if they can do it, let's go stomp on puffins.
Right.
Kind of thing. But it was like, in that moment, I'm not a physical person. That's bottom of my tier list. But if Mike sees that as a reason to get that way, then I am there.
I'll be backing up Mike for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The moment someone throws hands, someone's catching mine. Like, that's just the way that was going to end up.
Right.
It didn't. Right. That's probably good for everybody, because then we wouldn't have got that one dude taking pictures or, in his own Jedi robes.
Yeah.
So it's a bizarre, like I said, the more I started to consume, the more gray area the whole thing became to me. And it just made my end result of the whole thing was that I was pretty disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Chris, but in Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
his
think...
wife has not struck me, and it was the thing that I found out down the road, is that days before the Oscars, she does almost like self-empowering. I don't think it's TikTok. I think she has her own private platform or something. She shaved her head and did like a I'm owning it, kind of a thing. So when you take that into context, and the things that I have actually seen of her talking about her problem.
And that and Chris Rock probably was the first time he had seen her.
It might have been.
With a shaved head.
Right. She is not a damsel in distress.
Right.
She has talked about her condition. She, days before,
it's public,
put out a post self-empowering herself and accepting and intentionally shaving her head to prepare for the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
So your understanding leading up to that point from anyone that was following her was that she has come to grips with it. Now, can that slider change over time? Absolutely. Everyone's a work in progress, right? So, just because she did say it doesn't mean that she's accepted it. But in the context of it, over her story, it looks weird for her to say, this is me, and I'm happy with me, and I'm going to shave my head to speed up and make sure that everyone understands that I'm okay with me. And then you get to an award show where someone takes a mild pot shot at perhaps also not understanding your condition or where you're at with your self-acceptance, and everyone laughs, including your partner, and then you light the fuse.
Yeah. Now that's
it's awkward. It's wrong move.
That's what we don't know. Is
right.
That what was it? Just a Will Smith glance at her with her disapproving eye roll, after he was laughing at the joke, and that fired him off? Was it her prodding him?
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
And then when you factor all that stuff in, like his over-the-top machismo, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Right.
Like it just seems so fake. It seemed so like I don't raise, no one in my house is being raised with that kind of like, you need a man to protect you.
Right.
And son, you need to find a woman and you are the white knight. I'm like, everyone should be emboldened to find their own independence.
I look at it way more simply.
Yeah.
Period. Like some of the extraneous stuff that I've seen on shows where they talk about X, Y, and Z, like none of that shit matters. What matters is what happened in the moment, and someone didn't do what they should have done.
Right. Yeah.
And period.
I'd agree.
They went straight to fucking 10 on the scale and fucking smacked somebody on live broadcast television.
Yeah.
And then mouthed off like a fucking asshole. And I lost a lot of respect for
Yeah,
Will.
I would agree.
I enjoy his films, even though sometimes they're not the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I won't actively seek out to look for films that he's in or be watching them necessarily. I mean, I'm not like I'm going to be like, I'm just not going to watch anything with Will Smith. I won't go out of my way to watch something. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean,
and
he issued an apology, but is the apology... See, that's the thing about these apologies. Is this like a publicist thing? Oh, you got to do it. Is the wife mad? Who's mad, right? Do you feel bad?
Yeah.
You know?
Then when you factor in too, like the size of celebrity that Will Smith is.
Right.
That man, if he'd have just stayed in his seat, reached over and grabbed his wife's hand and went, "Don't worry, after the show, we're going to have this fucker blackballed."
Right.
He's selling tickets at, I think someone like under $100 for whatever show. And now he's selling tickets for 300 something.
Right.
But you could have just went, no one will ever see this man's show anymore. Like, we'll spin up story after story about how Chris Rock is insensitive to black women's hair culture. And right?
Why does this feel like the meta TikTok article I just read today?
So there were a ton of, like, he could have leveraged his celebrity in so many other ways.
Or just take it up with him to man after the show or on a phone call or fucking whatever.
He's fucking Will Smith.
Yeah. Hey, man,
give me his phone number. Give me his address. I'm going to go to his house and we're going to have a chat.
Or I'll see him backstage or something at a party. They're going to be.
I'm going to win Best Actor. And this guy is doing grown-ups comedy movies with Adam Sandler and fucking
that's
a bunch of other B comics.
That's the other thing, too, is like Will Smith basically put together a fucking skid mark on the whole rest of the show for all the people that did all the right stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And worked their ass off for the whole year.
Yes.
Or whatever.
And for his movie. Like the entire, like...
Yeah.
Tank.
I mean, all the things that people should be talking about, things like Coda and like the best award that guy that the deaf actor guy won.
Yes,
all that shit has been swept under the rug because Will Smith couldn't control his fucking feelings.
Did you see that the gentleman that won for Coda was also a Tusken Raider in the Mandalorian series, or the Boba Fett?
I didn't know.
Did you watch that yet? Book of Boba Fett.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
That actor is a Tusken Raider in the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
And the Tusken Raiders, so the guys that wear all the draped cloth with those guys, they do signs.
Oh.
I didn't do anything specific. I just moved my hands.
What did you just say? You cursing at me?
I was like, play with nipple and then touch it sideways.
Well, it's funny because everybody at my house but me does
signs,
sign language, ASL stuff.
They're making fun of your butthole.
Probably.
Yeah.
In fact, we were working out last night and Chandler was there too. All of us were there. My whole family was at the freaking
He showed up later?
Gym. He came after we were there, but we were already there. And he's like doing weights and stuff, the free weights. And then he's like signing to like my wife from up front. I just thought it was funny.
Not too funny.
But anyway, I mean, all this stuff about, it's way simple. You either have the ability to do the right thing or you don't. And I think in this case, he fucked up hard.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care what other extraneous situation. I don't care about alopecia. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
He just, no, you don't.
He did it wrong.
Yeah. You're not.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah. Period.
I don't care about any of the other shit.
And it had, if he was sensitive about comics taking shots at his wife with that joke, it went heavy. Comics were ripping them, her, him, ruthless.
Did you see
Tom Segura?
The Jim Carrey interview? Man,
yeah.
he was angry too.
Yeah. Like you can't.
Yeah.
It was very much like this is how it is now, really. Like very somber, kind of like, how did we get here? Why is this a thing? Like why?
Yeah.
That's wrong. It was wrong.
I felt like it was an abuse of his status and power.
Right. And then there's that too, right? So one, it's an award show, a premier award show for a subset of people that are essentially helping everyone else be entertained and forget probably COVID and whatever problems they may have.
Divorce.
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Your wife's cheating on you. You're
Yeah.
cheating on your wife.
Yeah.
Whatever. A pinnacle spectacle of glamour for a fraction of the community that makes way more money than you will ever make or I will ever make combined. And he assaulted someone and then sat back down.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to get an award, of which then he got a standing ovation for, and was afforded an opportunity to give a thank you speech where he said a bunch of stuff that didn't really include the things that he should have said, or shouldn't even have been speaking, and then went to a party afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, if ever there was a glaring example outside of politics and government about the disparity between the haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
Here is another glaring example of, regardless of the skin color, this man who makes way more money than the most Americans assaulted someone and then was afforded an opportunity to be like, I'm walking away. I'm sitting back in my seat.
I'm not leaving.
And what's going to happen? Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, sat back down and then got an award.
Yeah.
No. If that's any of us,
yeah,
we're
what should have happened?
Escorted out.
He should have been escorted out, and then he still can win his fucking award.
But he ain't accepting it.
But he's not going to be accepting it tonight.
Yeah.
I saw Wanda Sykes was on Ellen, and they were talking about the show, and what she said was she couldn't believe that, what was it, like 20 minutes later, that he was going to accept an award, and she said she wanted to run out on stage and say, "I'm sorry, Will Smith is not available to accept this award."
Oh.
That's what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
She was pretty upset about the whole thing. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he fucked up. He fucked up.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Now, it'll be interesting to see what kind of fallout happens for him. I think personally, I think what'll happen is there'll be a short-term career fallout thing.
Yeah.
He'll get sort of blackballed for a little while, but then he'll come back and do shit. I think that's what's going to happen. You're talking about a guy that's like blockbuster movie, summer fucking like,
but even
Independence Day.
And he's
all this
afforded
shit.
an opportunity with so much money that there's no hardship there, right? So if his publicist goes, you need to drop off the map.
Yeah.
He can be like, Well, I don't really want to. I didn't do anything wrong, but
or
okay.
no scripts are coming in for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He could be like, well, okay.
Yeah.
He'll just upload fucking Instagrams or whatever he does. I think he does Instagram stuff.
Oh,
yeah, he's pretty hot on Instagram, like sending shit. Although, who knows fucking now.
Does he smack people there?
It might be like the whole Brie Larson thing, where every time she posts something now, people blast her about her NFT support.
Oh.
What are you doing, Brie? This isn't the Brie I know.
I'll have to be curious. I have to go look at his account and see what's happening.
I'm pretty sure
there.
it's Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's on TikTok. Although he might be. I mean, everybody is like a social spectrum at this point. But I think he's most prolific on Instagram.
Being a young person when, like the high school age person I was when like Will Smith started breaking into like rap, and his show becoming popular, when I was a young person, like he's one of those people you root for. You know what I mean? You want to see him succeed. He always seemed to have the golden smile, and he was personable and all that stuff. And he always seemed to have his head on his shoulders properly.
Yeah.
So to see where we're at now and to see that happen, it just made me lose a lot of like respect and excitement for anything that he would do.
I would agree.
And in fact, leading up to the Oscars, I was like, oh, I need to see that Williams movie, the tennis.
King William.
King William. I need to see that movie. Will Smith's in it. I should see that movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it. I don't care to watch it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Put it straight into streaming. I don't even give a rip.
Yeah.
I'm not going to seek it out. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The repercussions there are, who knows?
I mean, maybe I'm on the smaller side of that, but maybe other people will flock to it. Oh, King Richard? I didn't even know, or whatever it is. King, I don't know. Whatever the name of the movie is. I should go see that. I didn't know he was in that movie.
King Richard, you're right.
And I don't care to see it now. Like, I literally was thinking, oh, I should go watch that. It's interesting about the Williams girls.
Williams.
Yeah. And now I don't care.
Yeah.
So, man, that's a tough one. And you know what was the other big one? There was a couple shoes that dropped this weekend, was the Taylor Hawkins thing. You mentioned it earlier. I on Twitter professed that I had a man crush on Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Taylor Hawkins is probably right back there. I mean, he's right next to. I love those two guys, and together they were awesome musically. That was a tough one when I found out that he had passed away, and that was one of the things where it's like, man, I really, really hope that this wasn't drug related.
Yeah.
And it always seems like the drugs take the good ones away.
I had missed, and this is probably because I was buried in work at the time, but I missed his first overdose of heroin in 2000. I had missed that because like you, they weren't releasing on the announcement, they weren't releasing
how he passed.
He passed.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have any musician. So unfairly, your first thing is like, oh, drugs, alcohol, something.
Right.
Guy went sideways. Heaven forbid Kurt Cobain, right?
Oh yeah.
So
that's another one because that happened the day before. That news story broke the morning of my wedding.
Oh, Kurt Cobain?
Yeah. 94.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't until a lot of the postings of like tribute stuff to him where I had caught, I think they did a documentary somewhere, and I don't know the year that they did it, but they had a pretty lengthy segment on his overdose,
Yeah.
and Dave essentially being their bedside for the length of time that it was there, because
he was in a coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here, ride or die, right? Whatever it takes, I'm here for you. You're my guy. And very unfortunate, very unfortunate. And I'll say that I didn't necessarily know his last name. I wasn't that familiar with the band, but I knew Dave and Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And of that era of, I'm a alternative kind of guy anyway, like the rock, whatever, classy. I don't even necessarily know where they pitching themselves. But coming out of the 90s, I was a grunge guy for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll get that at least right.
Right.
So the flannels, the
flannels.
The flannels and tied around the waist and whatnot. I didn't own my own. I had to steal my dad's, and there was only one. So anyway, he was very upset. Aren't you wearing it?
No, I just tied it around my waist.
Tied it around my waist. Oh, it was a Pendleton. It was really nice too. Really warm when I had to wear it, but most of the time it was just around my waist.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Nirvana.
Yeah.
But I was, truth be told, I was much more of a Pearl Jam fan and a Soundgarden fan.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Nirvana's stuff, but I couldn't have told you that Dave was the drummer of Nirvana. I knew Kurt Cobain. That was the name that came across. So I was more of a Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden guy. But I enjoyed Nirvana, but the grunge thing entirely was my thing. I was... and then obviously when Kurt suicide, and then I don't know, I couldn't tell you the length of time before Foo Fighters came up, but really the Pearl Jam, I never got into Pearl Jam again. Soundgarden, Chris Cornell went to Audio Slave.
Mm-hmm.
I followed them there, and I followed Foo Fighters, but it was only because someone had mentioned, well, the guy from Nirvana is in Foo Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And Foo Fighters is the only band out of that era that I will play on repeat, like at a drop of a hat. Like it's on a number of my playlists. I still, to this day, like, it's really the only band that came out of that late 90s, early 2000s grunge that I still could listen at any of their albums and love it.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
To hear of his passing.
He wasn't their first drummer. In fact, Dave Grohl originally recorded the self-titled Foo Fighters album on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He recorded all this stuff: bass, guitar, drums. So they didn't even have. They got like basically a touring drummer that ended up recording, I want to say, in the first album, and then Grohl had very tight grip on the creative aspect and ended up re-recording that guy's drums or something, and they got mad and left, and so they ended up having to they went through a drummer or two in there. And Hawkins was the last one, the final guy that came in, so he wasn't like the original Foo Fighters drummer. They ended up meeting later on and really hit it off, and was the drummer for the Foo Fighters. Man, well, one of the things I think about is Dave Grohl in general in this whole thing. I mean, here he is in Nirvana, where he's the drummer, and his frontman dies.
Yeah.
And now he's the frontman for the Foo Fighters, and the drummer dies. And they were just really good together.
They were really close, too.
And they were really close.
I mean, it wasn't like a musical relationship. They, through that documentary, what I caught in the documentary is that
they just bonded.
They
really
were
fast.
Effectively brothers, just not sharing blood of any sort.
Yeah. It affects me when people in the music, because I heavily I listen to a lot of music, and when someone who is somebody that has influenced me over the years, that I know to be part of whatever band or whatever, when I hear somebody passes away, it really bums me out. It's like, oh man.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that too,
it's such a bummer.
We're getting there, right?
Yeah.
We're turning a corner to where some of our entertainment heroes are slapping people or they're passing away.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you're a person like yourself that really leans heavily into music as a form of therapy or escape or something, or a passion, and those contributors to those beats in time, see what it is? That help identify you as a person or the events that were important to you, that starts to really like, that hurts. Like, that's damn. People like Christopher Reeve for the generation, like, my dad's generation, John Wayne, when those actors or entertainers pass that were iconic, Johnny Cash, those kind of things,
right?
It puts a weight on you.
Yeah, it was just such a bummer because they were just so entertaining. They were, they're one of the few bands that are just around doing rock and roll stuff.
Right.
That were super still relevant. I mean,
right.
Grohl's been on all kinds of, just recently on all kinds of like talk shows, and I've seen him on different podcasts and all kinds of stuff.
Because they had the movie.
Yeah, they got the
and
movie.
Then he was doing promotion for that, and they're on a tour.
Yeah.
We're on a tour. They did cancel the rest of the dates.
Yeah, so he was super busy doing all that, and it's just like, I feel bad for him in general over what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just such a tragedy kind of thing. Man, drugs. Don't do them. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't do them, man. It's such a bummer.
I know.
That was like my weekend downer. Like that one hit me hard.
I was playing.
That one hit me like a slap.
To the face of happiness. I was playing. I was playing Fortnite with Ted, and you sent you sent it across, and then I mentioned it to Ted. And I think we were probably killing some 9-year-old. I don't know. And Ted, what? No way. Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Fuck.
We were at the gym, and Chandler sent me a message, and he's like, "Did you see my message?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm like on the elliptical. And he's like, "Yeah, Taylor Hawkins died." And I'm like, "Fuck, are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No shit." He goes, "Yeah, I just saw it on, I sent you the link, but I saw it on Rolling Stone." And I'm like, "No shit. Are you, that is a serious bummer." Yeah. So anyway, just a weekend of bummer shit, kind of. Weekend of bummer shit.
You know what wasn't bummer shit? So I finally hooked up with Ted and we played Fortnite.
Oh yeah. How was that? Good?
It was awesome. We went 4 for 4. Or 5 for 5.
How many people are you playing with? Is it just you two? Or I guess you're both playing together in.
Right, we're in a squad with a bot. In playing trios.
Oh, okay.
So it's 3 teams of 3,
but really 2.
But really it's 2.
Uh-huh.
Hey, no shame, fuckers. It's a mobile bot. Because we're old men, so then we get seated into like a lobby with a mixed bag of people that also include mobile players.
Because the bot's dumb and doesn't get any points?
Because the bot is mobile, so the matchmaking registers you as having something, lowest common denominator, mobile. So it puts you in this like pool that includes probably people playing on iPads or iPhone. Well, not on iPhones and iPads. Samsungs, because you can't play Fortnite on Apple
Asus
anymore.
phones.
Right. Asus phones and your Samsungs. I wrecked your shit, didn't I? Yeah. Wherever you're at, little kid. Yeah. Yeah. Swipe more for all them upgrades, whatever.
Your mom didn't seem mine.
Yeah. a full auto on your mom.
No, I mean, I used to play back when it was available on the iPhone.
Yeah.
But one of the things about Fortnite I couldn't stand is the whole building aspect.
Right. And so that's why, right.
And that's gone now, right?
Right. So it was.
So is this like is this like just an evolving version of Fortnite? So they got rid of the building, or is this a new?
It was loosely tied into a story beat. So they removed it on this like release for, I think it was gone for like a week and a half, maybe. At least a week. And it started to get a lot of momentum. Like players were like, I enjoy the building aspect over, when did that come out? I mean, it's been 3 to 4 years,
right? Easy.
And the evolution of people whipping up these skyscrapers in a game with guns, it was like, I don't have, and the amount of like fast, it became a veterans only type of game where like if you were ingrained and you were capable of building these buildings and shooting people, then you were too casual and you were lost to the wayside of gameplay.
That's what happened to me because I would go engage somebody to like try and kill them, and next thing you know, there's a fucking wall in front of me and they're climbing a stairwell.
Right, and you're like, what
the fuck? What the hell
all of a
is
sudden
happening?
I'm in a public storage unit.
Yeah,
like,
and then I'm dead. Like what?
Right.
Yeah.
The circle's moved and now I'm dying to something. Yeah. And how do I get out of this fucking box? Like what? And there's no ramps. How So they went through this phase, the story beat, where the building was removed, and it pulled in a whole bunch of people. I was the same as you. Like, I enjoyed playing it, but I wasn't a battle royale person. I played it for a couple months with Xander, but we did the PvE one, where essentially you're just doing like a tower game where you build a base, and then it throws a bunch of zombies at you, and your defense, tower defense. Your defense is either win the game or they don't, and then you try it over again.
Interesting. I don't think I ever played it.
I enjoyed that because it was kind of like a cross between a tower defense and Minecraft. So you could build whatever you want, and you earn.
And then you put it in practice,
and then you launched it to see how you did.
Right.
Engaging, but it was also a huge time sink. But the real multiplayer part and the attraction of Fortnite was the Battle Royale version, which included this quick whipping of a building or a structure and some guns, maybe. And I'm like, it's not my bag. I can't. I don't have that kind of attention span. I play on console. I don't play on PC. So I don't have macros and a quick mouse movement and multiple whatever's on my keyboard to help me build a thing. Fuck it.
I was on my iPhone, man.
Yeah. I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
If I want to do no thanks. Just no thanks. So this new mode afforded, hey, if you just want to shoot people and play on this style, the genre of multiplayer, we're doing it. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll jump back in just to see. The hype of a number of content creators that I follow was pretty positive. So then we slapped a thing with Ted, and Ted's like, I play all the time with Kepler, and let's do it. Finally got in with Ted. We rigged up his bot so we could fucking sandbag some wins. No shame there. I'm almost 50 years old, and
but also you're only 2 guys against 3.
Well, it's 100. So
your team was only really
2. Yes. Technically, we would be right.
Yeah,
but that's probably outweighed by the fact that he's on a PC and I'm on a console, and we're probably playing a large number of filler bots and or people on a mobile device. So anyway. So the first 4 matches that we played, it might have been 5, I can't remember. But we Battle Royale on all of them. And it was enough where I was like, we got to the first one, and I think we're under like 10 people left. And honestly, it's been years since I played. I'm still trying to figure out which fucking guns feel good to me. And we're under 10 people. I'm like, dude, I have never won. I had not played a Battle Royale game. I just only done the players versus monsters.
Uh-huh.
And I knew Xander played, But I don't know if Xander had ever gotten a battle, the last finisher kind of thing.
Right.
So we're under 10, and I'm like, fuck, we might actually win this. Like, this is amazing to me. So I'm yelling in the hallway, Xander, come in the fuck hall.
Yeah.
So he comes walking down the hall, and I think Ted killed the last guy, and like the little thing shows up, Battle Royale, first place. And like I look over and I'm like, look, son. Look at what I have done. I did not slap anyone, and I have won this game. That happened. Anyway, it's a good joke. And he kind of like, wow. Well, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe I'll go download that one. And we'll go. I gotta look at that one. And yeah, and something tells me I think I beat my son to the.
So had he never?
I don't think so, and he didn't say it. But I don't think he's won one.
I don't think I ever won, but I think I got in the 10s at least. Not in the under 10.
And, hey,
and I suck.
We are heavily weighted in this lobby. I assure you, it's no real achievement outside saying
we actually did it.
We actually did it, and we did. Hey, man, we did it 4 fucking times in a row.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna let it go. It's going into my all-time gaming like woohoo. But in reality, there were probably.
So do they still have the regular mode where you just play by yourself?
Yes.
In that,
and then
without the building shit.
Yes. So this week, their like weekly reset thing. What they did, the story beat was that your playtime throughout the last week. Solve the puzzle or whatever it was to get building back. And what they did was...
No.
Right. It was so positive. What they did is they created a playlist for, Battle Royale with building, and then playlists for singles, duos, triples, and quads. No building.
Oh, that's good. So they sort of separated it out.
So they did. So it'll be interesting to see how this fleshes out from a analytics perspective.
Yeah.
A lot of content creators who are not professional gamers but play games a lot were turned off by the building. You had the
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
The semi-pros and pros who would use that game playlist to train were very good at what they do. And it's not to say that they're bad at playing the game as it was intended, but the casuals who just want to jump in were not that adept.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not. Was that me or you?
That was me.
Oh, we're not that adept at playing the game that way.
Yeah.
So they have created this. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Because I had fun. We won, and Ted stayed up till balls 30 playing. So as long as I wasn't roping Ted into something that he wasn't having fun doing, something tells me we were both having a good old time.
Yeah.
And we were kicking ass.
That sounds like that's what Ted wanted to do.
I hope so. Hashtag hey Ted.
Despite the fact that he's 3 hours.
And we should probably stream it because it'd look like we were just punching a bunch of kids. And I don't endorse violence if you listen to the top of the show at all. But if it's in Fortnite, fuck them kids.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. Well, that sounds like fun. I wish I don't have my last PlayStation console was a PS3.
Yeah.
And I basically just use that for a DVD/Blu-ray player now, which is few and far between these days. So I don't really have anything I could play it on. I don't think it's still available.
Are you asking me for an Xbox to borrow? Because I could give you an Xbox to borrow.
No. I don't think it's available. If I had it on my phone, I'd just play it there. But I'd be terrible.
You could be our sandbagger.
Oh, good. No, it's just I don't have a console or a PC because I'm all Mac.
You could drive the bus. Ted found we had this
drive the bus.
Dude, we laughed so fucking hard. We were in the middle of some swamp, and I'm scavenging for weapons, and Ted rolls up with this party bus that has like the full-on neon blinking shit going on inside.
Yeah.
And they have like radio stations like Grand Theft Auto.
Uh-huh.
And he's playing some like early 2000s, like you would recognize the techno disco trance beat that was going on. And he's laughing, get in the bus. And it's got guns on the top. And it was like, I shit you not, it was like a drunk party bus and we're shooting kids in it.
Oh my God.
It was so stupidly hilarious
Yeah.
that two grown-ass men, it was like this microcosm joke of being way too old, but yet having the greatest fucking time.
Right.
It was, on a mobile phone, you can drive the fucking bus, Jim. And Ted and I will just figure it out.
Okay. I just keep driving.
Yeah.
Just as long as we're inside the circle.
And if you still had... See, I thought if you had Fortnite on your thing...
I probably deleted it.
Oh, did you? It's like the one app I've probably ever seen on your phone where you might have deleted it.
No, because I mean, I think it takes up like a gig or something on my phone.
Does
I was
it?
like, I think so. It was pretty big.
Because people were doing the whole grandfather thing like they were trying to do with TikTok in pre-COVID or during COVID. People were like trying to download TikTok onto their phone to at least have it before the administration locked down TikTok for...
I don't have it.
Do you not have it?
No, I got rid of it.
Damn.
Because it was just one of those things where it's like, I'm not playing this game.
It's
I
never
hate
allowed again.
No, I was like, I'm not playing this game. I don't like the building part of it. That was the main reason. Like, I loved shooting shit and like scooting around, but like I didn't want to hang on to this app that took up like a gig on my phone.
And you have no PCs in the house, huh?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I have one work PC. But
oh, that's work PC.
Yeah.
I wouldn't condone that. Hashtag I love you, Dave.
No, I won't. I'm not going to put it on there. But yeah, so I mean, I would probably play, but I just don't. I don't have anything. Actually, I mean, I could play on probably Chandler's Xbox. Chandler has his Xbox.
If you would only need it for like an hour.
I mean, he's not home all the time.
And you would have a great... Right. You just have to sanitize the seat.
Oh.
And then be like, I'm playing Fortnite with old men. Nothing's untoward going on in your bedroom right now. Just me trying to play Fortnite with old men.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
We're at time.
All right. Well, that's fine.
Yay.
Well, I mean, you should think about it, but you should check your oil, Tony.
You should wear the mask.
Wash your hands.
Return the cart.
Wash your face.
Did we say ass already?
Nope.
Wash your ass.
Do the kindness.
And, hey, in the advent of the Taylor thing, it reminded me, tell someone that you think knows that you love them, that you love them.
Yeah.
Because you never know when the last time you'll be able to talk to someone through some accident or some life happenstance. So share your love with someone.
Yes.
And we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.